So hello, Kimberley. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Nagesh.
How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Very well indeed. So Kimberley, thanks for coming in for this interview. We appreciate that you're very busy. And so we love the fact that you've taken the time out to come and talk to us. So today I'd like to start the interview with you're a PHAB Service Star holder. You're a stylist based at Shontaff in Kilorglin in County Kerry in Ireland. And of course, you have arrived here somewhat 2.5, 3 years ago from South Africa.
Just over 3 years, yes.
Wonderful. And so you are a special, I guess, PHAB Service Star holder because you didn't have enough time in the UK to confirm the evidence that we needed when you first tried to apply. And so you waited for that clearance time and you came in and applied thereafter. And of course, you sailed through because of your skills and your talent. And so let's start here. What made you apply to the PHAB Service Star, please?
I think it's an incredible, I've always, since I started in this career, I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, I'm going to be one of the best out there. And it was one way of me saying, of being acknowledged for all the hard work that I put into it. You know, it's one thing for someone to say, wow, she's a busy stylist. But it's another thing to be, it's an award. It's an incredible way to pat yourself on the back and show everyone how well you've done, how all the hard work you put in.
How amazing. And I'm glad you did, because I know that to start with, we couldn't get enough evidence from South Africa because that's where that's the only place you'd worked. And then had you moved here, you didn't have the 2 years necessary here to gather the evidence. So I thank you for your patience as well. But here you are, you're on our list, and we love the fact that you've made it. So I would say, how did you hear about it to start with?
I worked for Shontaff, who he was one of the first, I think, in Ireland to attain one. And since then, all I wanted to do was get one. And when I put my mind to it.
So a competitive attitude then. How wonderful. I love that. And this is exactly what PHAB was designed to do. It's that people would compete on a talent level, on a, do you know what I mean? On a skills level. And that's the best type of competition to have. And our industry just lacked that. So I'm glad you've come through on that basis. So I have a couple of questions written down. As soon as you applied, how difficult, easy, how thorough did you feel our checks were? And sometimes I get abuse from people about this because we're very thorough, but feel free.
I felt a bit confused in the beginning, but once, you know, messaging the PHAB Service Star, that was all cleared up and was very clear going forward. I did feel a bit nervous going up to my clients, obviously, because you needed the referrals and stuff, and asking them, would you mind? Would you mind? And I was quite shocked at how they took it. They loved it. They felt honored, as opposed to me being like, I'm sorry, it's an inconvenience. You know what I mean? They absolutely felt thrilled that they could be chosen, if that makes sense.
No,
so that was a shock for me. And then other than putting in the numbers, which I felt pleasantly surprised, it was lovely to actually be following those numbers and looking at those numbers. And it was a great way for a wake up for me. I always knew I would, you know, did my best and everything like that. But it was a great way of saying, yeah, you've done pretty well, kind of thing. And then when putting it in, I just said, you know what, I've done all I can. I'll hope for the best now. If I don't get it, I know I did. You know, I know I did all I can. But it was actually quite a nice experience.
Because I say this to every PHAB Service Star holder, when you actually qualify for your star, you have been tested against industry average performance levels, and you have to exceed them in order to receive the PHAB Service Star. So technically, you now know that you are performing and delivering service to a higher level than most. And so how did that make you feel when you discovered that that was the case?
I was absolutely thrilled, you know, messaged my mom at like, you know, middle of the night in South Africa. And I was like, oh.
Oh, I'm so happy about that. So that's great news. So I'm now going to get to a different question here. You've proved that you are the best or with the best in industry. What can your customers expect from you in 2020 going forward? So all the things that you might carry forward that are similar, describe them, what they are, and what will they get from you that might be new in 2022? I keep saying 2020, but it's 2022.
So I pride myself on giving all my attention at that time to doing my absolute best. I'm not going to deliver anything than my absolute best. And beforehand, I was so busy that I was back to back and kind of juggling between 5 clients, you know, just to fit everyone in. But going forward this year, I'm only going to be doing 1 client at a time, finish, you know, start to finish, and giving myself the time that I love doing what I do. So doing these transformations, giving my absolute all and not having to be distracted at all with someone else who's sitting in the salon. So I'm kind of honing in what was the most important, if that makes sense. Putting in that extra time for my consultation, putting in that extra time so that I don't feel like it has to be rushed and then delayed for my next client.
Got it. But I actually can tell you that I've got a document here that tells me what your customers, and I've made quick notes when we talk to your customers, because we just don't take your word for it because it's typed. We then have to check. And I'm sure you've got some feedback for me there. But so here's a couple of comments that your customers have made about your customer service to them. And I'm just randomly going to pick up sentences here. Kimberley is a consummate professional. Now, that is her opening statement, and it's a statement. She talks about your unique way of making the customer feel like they're the only customer in the salon receiving 100% of her attention and tremendous skill. Kimberley, you do understand that's one of the reasons why you got the PHAB Service Star, because we measure so many things, but when customers speak about their sort of stylists or their beauty therapists or their nail technicians, you know, or their barbers or their colorists like this, for us, that is what we want to know, because I have physically never met you. Am I right?
No, yeah, you're right.
I met you online because you have incidentally also attended some of my training with the Shontaff group. Now, I will say this, that the fact that these people are writing about your dedication and the 100%, which is precisely what you're doing going forward, which is wanting to give your 100% and wanting to give all of the time to that one person. I think it's phenomenal that you've achieved that. It's what you've set out to do and what your customers are noticing about you without even being asked. So that is a great gift, and I say well done, supremely well done. Then I'll read from another couple of sentences. Another lady saying, in my 20 years of going to different hair salons, Kimberley stands out from the rest, basically. She has a world of knowledge and a very pleasant, bubbly nature. Look at this. I mean, she transformed my dry, brittle, brassy blonde hair to a head of fantastic, healthy, glossy locks. My God, what more could you want from your professional? And after years of searching, I found the best hairstylist ever. See, these are sentences that are just, for us, we're checking up. this could have been written by your grandmother, frankly. But we don't give you that opportunity. We will always follow something up and make sure that it is in fact happening in reality. So that's the difference for, you know, the FAB Service Star. And then another comment here, keep educating me, Kimberley. So that 100% of the time that you're giving the lady, she is clearly stating that you're educating her fully about her hair and how to look after it and stuff. And I think that's magnificent. There is no other way of describing it. And that's the type of people we have on the FAB Service Star. So could I ask, given that feedback, how does that make you feel?
Amazing, because it's really important to me how they feel, you know, not just the way they look. It's all that was the way I make them feel. And that makes me, you know, I love doing transformations, but it's also the way they feel sitting in my seat and walking out, which is just as important as the condition of the hair or the cut or the color, you know.
I agree. So one of our advisory board members is the very talented Julie Eldred. And she has been, I mean, she's semi-retired now, she's retired now, but her sentence was always, just please be careful in how you make the customer feel. And Julie, here's a young lady quoting you. But anyway, let's go to my next question to you. So where did this come from? Where did this thought process of your style of customer service, wanting to give 100% attention with no distractions, where did that start? Where does that come from, do you think?
See, my career, which is a job, is also my absolute passion. It's my passion. My dad always taught me that he's an entrepreneur, and he said, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. I know it sounds corny. No, it's the truth. Exactly how I feel. And for me, I can't remember the exact actual quote, but it's kind of about putting a little bit of me out there in the world. You know, it's my creation that I'm putting out there in the world. So when I have a consultation with someone, I have images in my mind going off. You know, as much as I want to make them feel great and everything, I want the shiny, clearest, beautiful blonde. Do you know what I mean? And I want it to grow up beautifully. And if I feel like I'm going to probably maybe run 5 minutes late by doing this extra cup of oils or whatever it may be, I'm going to do that because the next client knows I'm going to do the same thing for them, if that makes sense. And I absolutely, it's not for me about watching the clock. It's not about how much money I'm going to make. For me, it's about where we're going on this journey together. What can we create? And then a great relationship at the same time.
Well, you've certainly, it has come across from your customers, exactly those opinions and those feelings have come across. So you've been very successful at getting them, you know, to I guess, experience their visit with you in the way that you wanted to. So congratulations. So tell me now, I mean, would you recommend other people get a FAB Service Star, put their hat in the ring?
Of course, definitely.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You've got nothing to lose.
How wonderful. You do. We like to support the people that have qualified for the FAB Service Star. Now, do you feel we support you well on social media as we said we would?
Yes, I actually was doing a lot better at social media, but then I kind of got a little bit too busy and I started slacking a bit. But anything I have posted, I've gotten incredible interactions, you know, on my posts, which I really do feel that helps boost my, you know, publicity or anything out there.
Agreed completely. And I guess second last question from my side, is there anything we can do to support you better?
Nothing comes to mind at the moment. I don't feel like there's anything lacking. I don't feel there's anything I can say I could do some of this with, you know, so.
Okay. But you do know that it was built for the industry by industry professionals. So that's why we ask our holders if there's any way else we could support them. But when it comes to mind, you know, you can just pick up the phone to us at PHAB and let us know what else you're doing. And, you know, always tag us, you know, that's how it works basically when you post. I'll leave the last words to you. Is there anything else you'd like to say to us, or to us, I mean in the industry, and that's industry members from the UK and Ireland, because that's who we deal with just now? Or is there anything you want to say to potential new consumers that may want to come and sit in your chair? I mean, what would be your last words on this interview to everyone watching?
To other hairstylists, I would say, throw your hats in the ring. You've got nothing to lose. And you know, when you're those people who work really, really hard, you sometimes can feel a little bit drained because you're like, oh, what am I doing this for? But sometimes all you need is that pat on the back. And this is the way of getting that pat on the back and standing back and saying, it was worth it. You know, look at this, look what I've accomplished. So for me, it was a great way of taking a step back and giving myself a pat on the back. And for clients going forward, I myself would love to meet you. I would love to have a consultation first so we can get to know each other, see where your hair is at, because I feel like it's a journey. So we'd like to see where you want to go, what you want accomplish, anything that you are struggling with at the moment. So you can always contact me on my social media, my phone number, my website, and we can take it from there.
How wonderful. Well, I'm really pleased you're on our books. I am really pleased that you have qualified for your PHAB Service Star. And most importantly, for everyone watching, this young lady is based at Shontaff in Killorglin in County Kerry in Ireland. And thank you, Kimberley Walker, for giving us your time and coming and chatting with us.
Thank you
for your time.